Coach, you start your season on the road this year against Miami of Ohio, a 2-2 tie on Saturday, and then a 4-1 loss on Sunday. But you come home this weekend, Michigan Tech home opener on Friday. Can I get your thoughts on coming home and starting your home season here in front of the fans?
Yeah, no, it's going to be great. Number one, it's going to be wonderful to start a season without worrying about COVID in terms of fans and getting them in. Now, the job we're going to have is to get them back and engaged. We had one of the best student sections in all of college hockey up till COVID hit, and then you lose those students, and what are we 2 years removed from that situation, and are 2 years into it. And so now we've lost half the student population. Can we get those kids, the freshmen and sophomore students, engaged, get them into our student section? Because it's played such a big part of our team and our success over the years. In regards to our team, I think we're playing very well. Tough night on Saturday or Sunday, losing 4-1. But really, realistically, the game was much closer than that. We outshot Miami, and I thought we had some very good looks. We just couldn't get the puck past our goaltender. But I'm very optimistic for the season ahead.
What did you learn from the first weekend at Miami? Does it change your approach to lines or anything like that, kind of going into this weekend? Or?
We've shifted lines up a little bit coming out of the weekend at Miami. Not anything too major, but we did tweak the lines. A couple of the moves was necessitated by injuries. We do have a couple guys that came out of that weekend. Nothing long term, but they'll miss 2 to 3 weeks. But what I learned about our team is the compete is there. They're going to compete and battle very hard. But I did, two things that stood out. One, we got to be better in our defensive zone, and I think that's an easy correction for us. Just some different things that we can do in our own end. And I think conversely, we can be a little stronger on the forecheck. And those two things, I did feel at times Miami territorially carried the play. I'd give them like 45% of the territory. And I think we can flip that to 55-45 in our favor if we can be more aggressive in our defensive zone and a little better on the forecheck.
Tech on Friday and then Western on Saturday. What kind of unique challenges do they each present for you guys?
Well, we know Tech very well. We played them 6 times last year. The last 4 games all went to overtime. So, it's 2 pretty evenly matched teams. I would assume that the teams will be pretty evenly matched as well again this year. And then on Saturday we play Western, and we're fairly familiar with Western. We play them every year non-conference, and both those teams are very aggressive. They'll be physical. They have good size. So it'll be, even though it's 2 different teams, it's almost like playing the same team, both nights. And the interesting thing too is this year we're going to be in the Great Lakes Invitational Tournament down at Van Andel Arena, and it's going to be Tech, Western, ourselves, and Michigan State will join. So, we'll get familiar with them this time around, and then hopefully it'll help us when we play them at Van Andel.
Okay. And you kind of touched on it off the top. Having the students, the fans back, not having to worry about COVID. What are you kind of most looking forward to with the atmosphere this weekend, hopefully?
Well, I really hope we can get the fans back and engaged. But it's one of my concerns. I've watched other athletic, events throughout the country, and you can see, for the most part, fans are starting to come back. But I do worry about that re-engagement of the students. Particularly, like I said, there's 2 classes of 50% of our students here on campus maybe haven't been to a hockey game before just because of COVID. So it's going to be important, one, that we do well at home ice so that we, we're an attraction for our students. But number 2, just to engage those kids and educate them on how great sport of hockey is.
Coach, you have a long 6-game streak at home. Is there any particular goal you're looking at for those 6 games?
Nothing in particular. I'm more or less looking at this as we want to get better week to week. And so we didn't really goal set as much as process set. Like, we're really into the process right now. Hey, how do we approach every single day in practice? Are we, we're going to identify areas that we need to improve upon. And rather than look at the 30,000-foot view and say, okay, we'd like to be 5-1 at the end of this, or 4-2, we're more or less immersed in the actual process of getting better. And so we came out of the Miami weekend and identified a couple areas that we thought we could improve upon, and we're drilling down on those this week in practice.